Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be all about team building. We will begin with the core components and identities of all 6 classes in Space Marine 2, and after that, we are going to pair some of them together so you can see how they may complement one another. There will also occasionally be some talk about weaponry, skills, and usefulness against certain enemy types. I was going to try to cover all the combinations originally, but we came across a little issue, and by we, I just mean me and the various voices inside my head. I suck at math. Always have. Seriously. I failed algebra or geometry or one of them. I don't really know which one. I can't remember. And maybe that's why I failed. But anyway, I can't do math. But what I can do is teach you how to build your own teams from the bottom up so that they work well together. And, well, now that that intro has gone on way too long, let's begin addressing our team members' specialties. Since there's already a video that I've made for each of them, I'm not going to go super in-depth here, but I do have to spend a moment doing a recap for anyone who hasn't seen them, so just bear with me here. Tacticals are your flexible units meant to fill gaps in your team's cohesion and devastate high-value targets with their scan. Assaults are the prime single-target duelists, using high mobility to slip guards and set up brutal counters. Vanguards are assaults that lean more into the standard shooter mechanics while losing some mobility and raw strength. Bulwarks tend to rock back and forth between crowd control and team support. For the average player, it's considered to be the most survivable class. Snipers hang back in areas with good line of sight over their teammates, setting the table so their frontline units can feast on wounded targets. And heavies focus on swarm clearance more than anything, but they can be acceptable as a solution for elite targets in a pinch. With the classes out of the way, we can start learning about team composition. When you're laying out the foundation for a team, there are a few key points that you must address, and the list should always begin with the battlefield you're venturing into. And that one actually applies all the way to PvP as well, however, that's a topic for a later date. Simple fact is, some classes just aren't good in certain areas by design. Now technically, yes, you could stick your head up a bull's ass to get a good look at a T-bone steak, but I bet you'd rather take the butcher's word for it now, wouldn't you? If that went over your head, it means you most certainly could take the difficult route. But why? You have 15 different team combinations. You do not need to torture yourself by only playing a single class. Don't trick yourself into thinking you're special for working harder than you have to. And no, that doesn't mean always take the easy option, but it does mean to get a little variety in your life. Learn what class is best suited for a particular environment. General rule of thumb, melee does not do as well against chaos forces, and if you want more rules, well, go back and listen to what the classes are suited for, then ruminate on it. Snipers like long open sight lines, so use them on maps with long open sight lines. Heavies are good at horde clearing, so use them on maps with a lot of choke points to funnel hordes. Fuck's sakes, you give people free will, the first thing they do is look for more rules. It's this kind of simple shit that most people overlook, and then they get angry because they ran full melee and couldn't stab a Helldrake to death. All up in my comments saying the game is broken. No, bitch, your brain is. You know what, we're gonna go on another tangent again. Now I know I'm bad at math, it's established canon, but we gotta look at the numbers here. Take a moment to think of how smart the average person is. It's pretty disappointing, right? Well, now let's take a second and realize that half of all people are dumber than that one. And if you just paused and thought, oh man, he means me. Shut your damn mouth. Of course I don't mean you, Alfred Shitcock. This video says how to in the name. Those dicknips would go into anaphylactic shock if they went anywhere near an education. They're not the learning types. They're the busy inflating sense of self on Reddit all day types. By the way, get the fuck off of Reddit. Anywhere that you can see footage of the war in Ukraine and then swipe your thumb twice and see porn is not a place for humanity's advancement. Tangent concluded. So yeah, when it comes to picking your actors, pay attention to the stage that you're putting them on. Use your brain. That means you assaults. That's right, I called you out. Pull your face up out of that gazelle carcass, you feral little shit. I know you have a brain. The apothecary showed me your medical records. And no, I don't care how smooth it is. It's high time we put some wrinkles in that bitch. Now, similarly to the night I met a darling woman named Reese, yes, Reese, like the peanut butter cups, but not plural, your next task will be filling gaps. She really did have the cutest goddamn freckles. Getting hot and bothered just thinking about it, honestly, so let's get back to work. This calls back the don't torture yourself sentiment from earlier. You could stop short at picking classes to complement a map, sure, but you should go for gold, picking classes to complement your teammates as well. This is where things can get a lot more variable. When you're team building, the most overlooked detail is preventing weaknesses. Hold up real quick, this motherfucker just bit me. I didn't even know they could do that. Anyway, back to it. Look, being really strong in a specific field is great, but you can't just leave yourself open. I don't care how good of a punch you throw. If you have bad knees and poor footwork, I will just fuck start your meniscus, and so will the enemies. You need what every team needs. A contingency plan. A fixer, if you will. You can get away with many suboptimal choices if you prepare one class chosen to eradicate specific problem areas for the team. This choice is contingent upon who the other two members are. Not enough horde clearance? Likely a good plan to pull a bulwark or heavy out from cold storage. Too many ranged options on the team? Throw in an up-armored disaster magnet like the assault at the front line to lessen the strain of scrounging up bullets. This is one of the easiest solutions to avoid your team getting rat-fucked by a flight unit or whatever other nonsense assails you. The third and final piece of this puzzle are complementary weapon and perk selections. Here's what I want you to do on your class building screens. Think of the tone you aim to set for the match. Don't worry, I'll be giving you some examples later if that's confusing. This will set up the pacing, positioning, and equipment that you're going in with. If you want to play aggressive, my brother in Christ, go in with aggressive weaponry and skills. Expect to be right in the enemy's face throughout the duration of the op. Lean into team skills like gun strikes and contested health modifiers. Pull out weapons like a Melta or Thunderhammer. Understand your weak spots will be things like Zoes or Rocket Terminators because of their engagement styles, and prepare for that. And for the love of fuck, please communicate with your team if you are able. Problems get fixed faster with good cooperation. The tactical tunnel visioning of a warrior he's fighting in a corner doesn't know he should break and give you help unless you ask for it. If you would like some more explicit instructions, generally successful behaviors that you can format your team around are as follows. Bunkering. Everyone remains in a tight group and allows the fight to approach them, exhaust itself, then move to the next objective. This is usually a bulwark, heavy, and a sniper, and they are good answers for both factions. Aggressive, because it needed a little further elaboration, this team will constantly apply forward pressure to break up enemy formations. This is often bulwark, assault, and vanguard, which can be replaced with a tactical or heavy if you want more flexibility. I would not try this against chaos. Utilitarian. This is the most inarguable of setups that can be applied to any map. Bulwark, assault, or vanguard frontline to disrupt enemies. Tactical or heavy stay back to cover them, and sniper stays way back to cover both of them. Those are three very basic loadouts that anyone who isn't out of their depth can find success with. What I would like to do now is open the floor so you guys can share your own fucked up team combinations. It might end up helping someone along. And with that being said, that's all I got while I hope for us to get the next content drop soon. So feel free to join the Discord if you're old enough, as usual. It's where most of the gaming takes place. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good night.